In Activity 1, Building Weather Stations, students construct weather stations on which they will post data that they collect and examine in later activities. Students are first introduced to the role of weather stations. Then they construct weather stations, and finally they create sections for recording data on local and national weather. You will need the following materials from the kit: Activity Sheet 1, U.S. outline maps, paper fasteners, and flat boxes. You will also need to provide markers, pair of scissors, stapler, and current weather reports. To prepare for the activity, make a copy of Activity Sheet 1 for each student. Select an area in the classroom where the weather stations can be displayed. Each team of 2 will have one station. Collect national and local weather reports, preferably from that day, from the local newspaper, internet, or other sources. Each team will need to look at the same report. Each team of 2 will also need a U.S. outline map, 4 paper fasteners, a marker, a pair of scissors, and a flat box. Begin the activity with a discussion of the terms atmosphere, weather, weather forecasting, meteorology, and meteorologist. Explain that the condition or state of the atmosphere at a given time and place is known as weather, and predicting future weather conditions is known as weather forecasting. Then explain that meteorology is the study of the atmosphere and its weather, and those who study meteorology are called meteorologists. Also, define climate as the average weather over a long period of time. Then ask students, what do you think a weather station is? A weather station is a place for recording and displaying weather data that has been collected. Inform students that in this activity, each team will build a weather station, and in later activities, they will collect weather data and record these data in particular areas on their weather station. Using Figure 1-1 as a guide, show students what the weather stations will look like. Distribute a copy of Activity Sheet 1 to each student, and then distribute 1 box and 1 marker to each team. Have teams follow the pattern on the activity sheet to construct their weather stations. Open the seam of each box, fold one side back as shown in Figure 1-1, and staple the right-handmost flap to the back of the adjacent flap. Have teams write weather on the top of the center panel. Distribute the U.S. outline maps, the paper fasteners, the scissors, and the national and local weather reports from a newspaper. Have each team use 2 paper fasteners to hang the outline map on the center panel, directly under the weather heading. You may wish to assist students as they make holes in the cardboard for the paper fasteners. Write the heading National and Local Weather under the outline map. Then use the remaining 2 paper fasteners to secure the weather report under this heading on their station. Call the students' attention to the newspaper weather report. Tell them that they will get the national weather and some of the local and regional weather data from the newspaper, but they will collect much of the local data themselves. In upcoming activities, students will learn how to use weather instruments to gather data to display in specific areas on their weather stations. Explain that they will keep track of weather conditions such as temperature, amount of rainfall, wind speed and direction, air pressure, cloud types, and more. Remind students to bring to class a weather report from a newspaper for the next 8 to 10 activities. Collect extra weather reports and forecasts yourself as well, so that any team without a report can use one that you provide. To conclude the activity, put the weather stations in the designated areas. For science background, reinforcement activities, curriculum connections, and information about the Delta Science Reader, please consult your DSM Teacher's Guide.